Hi students, welcome to another session. So far we have completed 4 units that are Introduction to Psychology, Methods of Psychological Inquiry, and we have seen Basis of Human Behavior and Human Development. All these units, if you can understand, Introduction to Psychology gives you the basis knowledge of what is psychology, what are the branches and all. And methods of psychological inquiry will help you to understand, observe how a psychologist see this world, collects data, analyze data. Data is nothing but the information. And then we have seen basis of human behavior, that is the biological basis and the cultural or social basis. In the biological basis, we have seen nervous system, basic unit of nervous system, that is neuron, brain, hormonal functioning, glands, etc. And in the cultural basis, we have seen social construction, relationships, enculturation, acculturation, factors influencing the behavior, etc. And in human development, we have seen how a human grows, that is biological development and social development. We have seen stages, meaning of development, and similar meanings such as evolution, maturation, etc. So all these units will give a basic knowledge, and let us see the next unit or chapter, that is fifth chapter, that is sensory, attentional and perceptual process. These processes will go in detail how we receive information, how we receive receive information from others or environment. These are the basic organs. Organs, we call them as sensory organs, through which we understand our world and the world outside. So let us see what is there in this unit. So we have a quotation here by Aristotle. The quality of life is determined by its activities, that is actions, work, the daily life of a human. What we do is what we are. What are the activities? How we eat, how we receive information, how we work. All these are that can be called as activities. Activity for the day. I go to school. I came home. I interacted with friends. I attempted examinations. These are types of activities for a daily life, and even the knowledge we acquire from the uh, digital medium or the books, etc. So this is what this quote is all about. So the quality, how good, how successful is life is determined by the activities which you do. So in this chapter, you would be able to understand the nature of sensory processes. So what is sensory processes? Process, how the information is understood, processed, what are all the sensory organs, explain the processes and types of attention, selective attention, divided attention. There are, yes, you will be seeing these. What are the types of attention? Analyze the problems of form and space perception, we discussed as a gestalt psychology in unit 1 or chapter 1. Examine the role of socio-cultural factors in perception, factors in perception, and reflect on sensory, attentional, and perceptual process in everyday life. We also not only the biological organs which we see in the slide, eyes, ears, skin, nose, uh, we call them as we have visionary, auditory, visual, auditory, tactile, etc. We have these type of key words in psychology. We will be discussing in detail and the factors responsible, biological factors and also socio-cultural factors which determines our understanding. We will be discussing all these things in the chapter. So contents of this unit, as we are dealing with introduction, we will see introduction in this session. Knowing the world, how we understand our world or outside world. There is a self in understanding inside the body, the physical body. Nature and variety of stimulus. Stimulus is which grabs the attention of sensory organs. So stimulus is very important one. Um, these will decide how we receive information, how we perceive information, how we give attention to it. So this is very important. Nature and varieties of stimulus is very important. You have to have a good understanding of this. Next is sense modalities: visual sensation, other human senses, auditory sensation. So that is with eyes, ears, and others are like skin, nose, and tongue for taste. Attentional processes, as said earlier, there are different process, that is selective, divided, sustained, span of attention. Attention, this is a disorder or inability or a special ability which we have to we can discuss this disorder, mental health disorder. Regarding perceptual processing approach in perception, how the we process the information. There is a stimulus, we give attention, stimulus, attention, and perceive, receive information, process information. The perceiver is the one individual. We will be seeing all these topics in detail. Principle of perceptual organization: perception of space, depth, distance, that are monocular cues and binocular cues, which will be is about visual perception, that is regarding the eyes, perceptual constancies, illusions, hallucinations, illusions. These are similar types. How your eye can, what are the limitations? It is not only we will not be completely process the information what way. There are some limitations. Only certain wavelength, certain limits, wavelength or limits we can understand. Socio-cultural influences on perception, which we have discussed in the earlier slide, the social cultural factors. So then we have these everything like key term, summary, project ideas, etc. But these are the topics which we'll be covering in this unit. So as we are saying, most of the we have repetitively discussed that eye and ear, that is visual and auditory perception. In the previous chapters, you have already learned how we respond to various stimuli present in external and internal environment with the help of our receptors. Receptors are sensory organs. While some of these receptors are clearly observable, for example, eyes and ears, without the help of electronic or mechanical devices. Why he mentioned electronic mechanical devices? You have to uh, Mechanically means there are other organs. For example, you have to see the organs in the ear, the receptors in the ear, in the eye. So, with a naked eye, you may not be observing them, but with the help of electronic like X-rays, scanning devices, etc., we can make it. This chapter will introduce you to various receptors that collect a variety of information from the external and internal worlds. The focus will be particularly on the structure and the function of eye and ear. We will be clearly understanding the structure and functioning of eye and ear, including some interesting process associated with vision and audition. So also the how we process the information, the information received by sensory organs is mechanical, audio signals, but how the brain processes, how these neurons process the information, how this nervous system process the information, all these things we will be discussing in this chapter. And you will also know some important things about attention, as that is selective, sustainable, divided attention, and the disorders we will be discussing about this attention type. Attention is one concentration. It is like concentration attached to the without any distractions, how we are processing information, which helps us to notice and register the information that our sense organs carry to us. It is notice the stimulus, register the stimulus, and process the information. Different types of attention will be described along with the factors that influence them. It is not only that, attention and factors influencing attention. At the end, we will discuss the process of perception that allow us to understand the world in a meaningful way. So, so attention is one such process which helps us understanding the world. How we can understand it is about the process of perception. Perception is what information we receive through that attention process, and then the sense organs, all these are interlinked, which will help us to process information. You will also have an opportunity to know how we are sometimes deceived, that is means influenced by certain type of stimuli such as figures and pictures. There can be figures like round circles which will be like your eye cannot process the information. There are some other stimuli which can trick you in understanding the information or the stimulus, right? All these things we will be discussing in this chapter. So that's all for today. We have discussed in detail what we will be going to discuss in this chapter 5, that is sensation, attention, and perceptual processes. We'll be discussing these details in depth in the coming sessions. Thank you so much. Have a great day.